Welcome to the Space for Grace podcast, a place where you can come as you are, hear genuine conversations about women's holistic health, and leave educated, inspired, and encouraged about your health and fitness journey. Get ready to find freedom to flourish in your physical, mental, and spiritual health. I'm your host, MK, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Space for Grace. Hey guys, welcome back to the Space for Grace podcast. Today I have my good friend Julie here, who is also an online fitness coach, and we are going to talk about her fitness journey today. So I'm super excited to dive into that. So thanks, Julie, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk with you guys.
So I met Julie on Instagram.
Yeah.
I started following you probably when I was in college, maybe, and
Oh, wow.
was trying to figure out how to strength train better. Because you share so many good like form tips and things.
Cute.
And so just had been following along, then got my personal trainer certification, and you were one of my inspirations for starting online coaching. So thank you for kind of paving the way for a lot of us. But would love to hear just your story, how you got into fitness personally, and then how you started your business from there.
Cool. Well, thank you for the kind words, and I'm so proud of you. Like, look at her merch. She's wearing it right now. It's so beautiful. And yeah, I've known Madison now for a year. I think a year. Our first half of our relationship was online. We were long distance, and then I ended up moving here, and I think that was God's plan all along. So that's really cool. But anyways, yeah, my fitness journey started back in high school. Well, I was always aware of my body. Honestly, I started becoming aware of my body. I think a lot of women around middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I was in cheer, the way my cheer uniform would fit compared to other girls. I just always remember that being start of it. And then I just was doing a lot of observing of other people of like, okay, how do they look that way? What do they eat? And that also stemmed from like my mom and the woman directly in front of me living with me. And it was a lot of meal replacement shakes, a lot of vegetables, not a lot of carbs, a lot of language around that's not good for me or that will make me fat or like, just that kind of like trigger language.
Yeah.
So that started really young, seeing those Slim Fast shakes. Just like when I close my eyes, that's what I see in my nightmares, the red box. But
do you remember how that made you feel that young?
it made me feel like I wanted to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, Slim Fast shakes. And then probably in freshman year of high school, that caught up to me and caused my binging because I was so hungry that at night I would secretly just raid the kitchen and have whatever I wanted to eat because my body was basically crying for help with like, I am a growing young woman.
Yeah.
I'm trying to develop a period for you and I can't do that. Now, obviously, 10 years later, I can understand that, but it was my body's cry for help and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that cycle started and lasted for like 4 years, I would say. And then strength training changed it all. But yeah, if you want me to get deeper into that, whatever you want.
Were you exercising during that time, middle school and high school, or in sports?
Good question. So I was doing cheer. I did cheer in middle school and then I did it throughout high school too. And me and another girl led the workouts, which is so weird because I don't know why I was appointed to that, but I was. During summer, we would do outdoor track workouts. And they were a lot of like little arm circles if you're watching on videos, a lot of laps around the track. Do you know what Indian sprints are? Like when you run in a line and then that back person has to sprint up.
Oh, I've never done that.
We did that every single practice.
Oh my
It was torture. I don't know why we did that. But anyways, I was appointed to that role. So we worked out during cheer. During the season, though, it was a lot of just like the sideline stuffs and doing our routine. It wasn't really like a real workout. But I was a flyer freshman year because my body still hadn't really developed. And then I remember about no, like 3/4 of the way throughout the year, we were getting to our competition season. And I just looked in the mirror and I gained like 25 pounds. Like I was much heavier than I was when I started. And it was because that binge eating had started.
Yeah.
And, I just hear girls talking like, she's the heaviest flyer, like, da da da
Mm-hmm.
da, getting in my head. And then the restriction became worse, but that caused the binging to become worse. And then
Mm-hmm.
I started looking, I think it was about that time, of ways to cope with the
Mm-hmm.
post binge. So a lot of people will purge. And I tried
Mm-hmm.
that a lot, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like I would try like my toothbrush. I never really talked about this, like getting this deep, so trigger warning. But then I went to laxatives. So I was
Mm.
like taking laxatives a lot to try to just flush everything out afterwards. My body was a mess. It was a mess. Um, I don't
And
know
that's what
why.
like all the fad diets do to us is
Yeah.
trick us into thinking that this is the solution, this
Yeah.
is how you're gonna get this like perfect body that you want according to culture
Hmm.
standards that are always changing, right? But then they don't tell us that it's wrecking our hormones and our
Oh yeah.
digestive system.
Yeah. So at this time, I still didn't have a period. I think I got my
Mhm.
first period, I think it was like 16. So it was a little
Okay.
later in life. Um, but yeah, that just kept going on throughout high school. And then obviously the following year, I got moved to a base position. And I was really defeated about that because I just like
Mhm.
wanted to be really tiny. I also was doing everything not for myself. Then it was more so to impress boys and
Yeah.
to impress the coaches and
Yeah.
all those people. So, yeah, that was sad. And when I think about it, I just want to like
Mhm.
give myself a hug.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me so excited to, God willing, be a mother one day
Mm.
because I understand that my parents are going through this life for the first time too, and that the way they grew up, I never put blame on them or anything like that for not, well, it was traumatic to me. I know a lot of people have their own traumas, but like that
Mhm.
that was my thing and I don't discredit that, but I
Yeah.
also don't push blame onto them, but it definitely gets me excited to, maybe raise a little girl one day and now I have all
Mhm.
these tools after going through it of how to hopefully stop that cycle because
Yeah.
afterwards talking to my mom, I understand she went through that too. So it wasn't,
Mhm.
like we have this power and opportunity in 2024 to end the cycle of maybe this family thing that's going on.
Yeah. Love that you have that opportunity to break that generational pattern with your future family, God
Yeah.
willing, one day. Because the words that we say really do matter and really do impact other people.
Hmm.
Like your parents or your friends at cheer or who your teachers, whoever,
Yeah.
like things that people say to us when we're young, we can really hold on to those things.
Hmm.
So yeah, when we're older, even I think about when like I was in college and girls around each other, we would say negative things about our bodies. Like I should have thought about how that would make my friend feel when
Yeah.
I was commenting on my body and then they feel pressure to comment negative
Yeah.
on their body. It's like we've got to stop that.
Yeah,
Stop that negative talk.
for sure.
So, how did you first start thinking about or realizing like, oh, this is probably unhealthy for my body and mentally unhealthy for me? Like, and how did you start to get out of that
Yeah.
cycle?
I think the food component came the second, and it was more so the gym that changed. So in the
Mm-hmm.
off season, me and my friend Emma would go to the gym and we would run like 3 miles, go on the Stairmaster, do all the cardio, and then
Mm-hmm.
one day we were like, you know what? Let's just go use every single weighted machine. So we would literally do that for like 3 sets of each and spend like 3 hours at the gym, just
Oh
like
my gosh.
having fun, like curiosity. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but geez, I was killing myself with cardio and then trying to lift. Like now we know. But so that came first. So the interest in the gym. So I had my cheer season, then my off season, we would do that, blah, blah, blah. And then came college, what happened was I went to UConn and I now didn't have my cheer workouts. I didn't have my best friend Emma. I didn't want to join a sorority. I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to join the cheer team or the athletics department there. And I was like, what the heck do I do? I'm all alone in this dorm. I felt so isolated. My roommate had gone to UConn, and she had like 15 of her best friend groups that all went to UConn too. So she already
Wow.
had friends. She was really nice. She tried to like incorporate me into them, but they've been friends since kindergarten, you know? So it
That's
was like,
hard.
I don't know. I just got in my head because most of my friends have been given to me at this point because of cheer.
Mm.
So I'm sitting in my bed. I'm like, what the heck do I do tomorrow? I have classes, but then you have like these huge gaps in between classes in college and all this free time. I'm in like the middle of nowhere in upper state Connecticut. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go to the gym. So I'm like, okay, what workout should I do? I don't have Emma. We're not gonna do every exercise how we like did it before. So I'm on like YouTube. I'm like workouts for girls in the gym, like shy.
Uh-huh.
Stem the
Shy
shy
girl
girl
workout.
workouts, right? So this was 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018 I
Okay.
started school. Yeah, I think so. Um, Whitney Simmons popped up. And Chrissy
Yes.
Chella and Hannah Auberg, those are like the three ones that I really remember. And I was
Mm.
like, oh my goodness, look at the weights that she's lifting. I could never. Like, I'm gonna get so bulky because again, that's what my mom said growing up, and that's what everyone was saying about women. Like, we do not do heavy lifting, you will get bulky.
Mm-hmm.
Scared. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the workout, but I'm just gonna use a lighter weight and I'm gonna add like 10 reps.
Mm-hmm.
My knowledge there, like my little input into Whitney Simmons workouts. But so I did that and I started loving the gym. And then I ended up buying Chrissy Cella's bikini body summer guide, something like that. It was like a
Yeah.
5-day split. I stuck to it. I loved it. But what I was noticing was um one, she talked a little bit about nutrition, but not too much, but the importance of protein. So
Mm.
then in my head, I was like, okay, protein, these Slim Fast shakes, because I brought them. Like, they don't really have
Oh no,
protein
they
in
made
them. They're
it to
just like
college.
chocolate milk. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? These don't even have protein. Like, I'm gonna throw this out. So I ordered some protein off Amazon. It
Nice.
was like the Orgain brand, the green
Mm-hmm.
one. And then I started having that. And then I was like, oh, she has like oatmeal in the morning. So I'm gonna put the Orgain in the oatmeal in my, and it was just like these little pieces together.
Yeah.
And I noticed because I was still binging a little bit, but you can't,
Mm.
people probably know this if they struggled with it before. It's pretty hard to binge when you don't have an abundance of food in front of you. And then when you're in the
Mm.
cafeteria, you want to do it in secret. And it's like, how do you do that in front of all these people? So it got
Yeah.
better from that, just honestly from the environment that I was in. But I
Mm.
still had urges and I still had this really unhealthy relationship with food. Like I even remember one time I was feeling that urge and I was literally looking in my roommate's like section and I was like stopped myself
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wait, what am I doing? You know, like hiding wrappers under the trash. Um, but yeah, so started having protein at breakfast and then when I went to go make my meals in the dining hall, I literally had in my phone a picture of the how to build your plate and would do that
Yeah.
in the dining hall.
Nice.
So the gym and my health became my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I still really didn't have friends. Like once in a while, and on the weekends, I would literally have my ex-boyfriend come pick me up and drive me back home every single weekend
Oh,
because I wanted to be home.
yeah.
But yeah, that's was the slow evolution of it. But again, it was from when I was like 14 to at this point, I'm like 18 trying to
Mm.
get out of it. Um, but that was, I think, where I saw a really good amount of improvement
Yeah,
because of
definitely.
those YouTube videos. Yeah.
I love that. I love that they were kind of in the field that we are in now, setting that healthy example
Yeah.
and showing that like women can be strong, women can lift these heavy weights
Yeah.
and, eat protein and
Mhm.
fuel your body. I love that. And you said that the next piece was kind of digging more into nutrition that kind of helped you continue.
Yeah, I think that's what helped kind of overcome the binging.
Mm-hmm.
But I think another thing was, and I was listening to the Brain Over Binge podcast. I didn't have a therapist at that time, but I started therapy when I went to, or anyway, I transferred from UConn to Fairfield U after that first semester because I kept coming home every weekend. And my mom was like, we can't keep doing this. Like, let's just move you home. But I kept up with my gym schedule and my eating. And when I was home, I finally told my mom, like, we need to change what's in this house, what's in the
Wow.
fridge, you
What'd you
know?
say?
She was like really proud of me that I
Oh,
was taking care of my health. Yeah, but then she was
that's
also
awesome.
like, I grew up with my grandparents and my dad and my brother was still at home. She was like, we can't get rid of everything. So I was like, okay, hide
Yeah.
it. You know, like hide these things, hide the chocolate. Like I don't want to see the peanut butter. I don't want to see the
Mm,
Oreos. Like just get them out of my vision. So that was helping. But yeah, it was mostly the nutrition. And then fast forward to COVID was when I hired my first coach. It was an online
mm.
coach. He was from Ireland. How did I find him on the
Nice.
internet? I don't even know, but he had great transformations. And I was like, this guy looks pretty legit. I'm gonna hire him. His name was Gary. So I hired Gary.
Shout out to Gary.
Yeah. So we did 3 months, and that's when I learned about macros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that like really life-changing?
Oh,
Had you ever heard about it at that
no.
point?
I heard about protein and then I was like,
Yeah.
there's more macros.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also in high school and d during my time at UConn, I didn't pay attention to calories, which
Yeah.
is kind of a oddball thing, I think, when you're struggling with
Mhm.
an unhealthy relationship with food. A lot of people will keep like calorie logs. I didn't do
Mhm.
that. No, it was more so just restriction. And then when I started adding in protein, I just, would look at the protein and be like, okay, check off my list. So it
Yeah.
was the first time numbers were brought into it. And by, me sharing my story, you could probably tell I'm a little type A to where when I get into something, I'll really get into it. Like the 5-day split, I really stuck to it. So when he
Mhm.
introduced the macros and the science behind each one, like protein is the
Mhm.
building block of lean muscle, carbs are a main energy source,
Yeah.
fats are great for women's hormones. When he like sat down and said that to me, I had an aha moment and I was like, why has no one told me this?
Yeah.
Also, this is like the key to health. Like you just gave me this key and now I can really be in charge of like what's going in and what's coming out of my body and it's science and it's not
Yeah.
me just hoping this diet will work, you know?
Right.
So that was really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so freeing,
Yeah.
right? When you learn the true keys to health for your body and not just these fads or, oh, try this thing. But I remember having a similar aha moment too, during my fitness journey and journey with PCOS, where it was like, oh, I can just do even like two really good full body strength training
Yeah.
days and walk every day and use the build your plate method or whatever, like meet
Yeah.
my protein goal. And I can actually trust my body to like do its thing and not gain a ton of weight and
Mhm.
like maintain muscle. That was like so freeing for me.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what you felt.
When he said no cardio for my 3-month program, we did a cut. I was like, what? No
Yeah.
cardio? Are you crazy? I'm gonna fire you. And
Yeah.
then he like explained it, and I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, it was super helpful and I saw really good results.
Mm.
And this is where it's so important to hire the right coach because I've heard horror stories with people tracking macros where they get
Mm.
super obsessed with it. But
Yeah.
if you have the right coach walk you through this process, then they set the precedent right then and there of macros do not control you, you control your macros, and here's how to make it a healthy lifestyle and not become obsessive.
That's
Like
good.
doing a day of like calories only, having like non-tracked meals,
Mm.
maybe not starting off with protein, carbs, fats, calories, fiber. Maybe just
Yeah.
starting off with protein, you know? So it's
Hmm.
like explaining, and he right off the bat explained to me in these first 3 months, we are going to do the tedious thing of tracking everything. We're going to use the scale, but this is just like in school when you learn a new like way of division or something. You keep doing it on the calculator, you keep learning, and then you can ditch the calculator, you can ditch the app, you can ditch the scale, and you should have that tool kind of ingrained to where you know how to
Hmm.
build a plate. But over time, that tool might get like a little, and then you have to whip the calculator back out to make sure you still know how to do it. So that
Hmm.
really helped me of like, this is a tool in my tool belt for me to see my goals. Oh my gosh, your cat scared me. This
It's
is a tool
hunting.
in my tool belt to help me reach my goals. And I control when I take it out and I don't use it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I think I really owe him a lot of credit to. And that's the
Hmm.
same thing I do with my clients now. I'm like, this is not a forever thing, but this is a tool you can carry with you forever. How cool
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
You know?
It's such a good tool, especially if you grew up with no like concept of macros or
Yeah, exactly.
like the amount of food that's
No,
appropriate for your
I was on the
body.
beige diet.
Right.
Waffles, chicken nuggets, mac and cheese on repeat.
That's sad. American diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me too. We ate cereal every
Oh
morning
yeah.
and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Cheerios with like 2 big scoops of sugar in it.
Oh my gosh.
Like every single morning.
So good.
Well, that was elementary school, but yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
You love sugar when you're a kid.
Yeah.
We don't know any better.
No.
Man. Okay, so you hired your coach. You learned a ton about
Yeah.
macros and even more about strength training and how to do a cut. So, when did you start thinking about doing this for other women and helping other women learn what you had learned?
Yeah. So COVID happened. Then I was like, okay, I kind of want to start posting on my fitness journey. I'm gonna just do it on my personal Instagram. So I started doing it, and then, you know, John from second grade and Alyssa from church started liking my stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't need these people looking at my stuff right now. I feel so uncomfortable. It's like, scratch that idea, delete everything, make a new account, make it private, make it anonymous, don't follow anyone that I know.
Hmm.
So that's what I did. And Juliefit was taken. Oh, no, sorry. My real name is Juliana. So,
Hmm.
and my family calls me Julie, but in school, most people called me Juliana. So I was looking at Juliana Fit. It was taken. And I was like, okay, let's like make myself Julie, this alter
Uh-huh.
ego. Let's keep it going. Julie Fit, taken. And then I just like kept going down the alphabet. And then I just picked X. So Juliexfit was
Gotcha.
born.
Okay. I always wondered where that
Oh, yeah,
came
there
from.
was no like real thought process there, but
It
it
sounds
works,
cool.
right? Yeah. So I made Juliexfit, and then what I would do is every day I would either post like my workout, a meal that I was having that day, or like a booty pic back then. So that was
Yeah.
my content schedule back in 2020. So that's what I did. And then like all these girls, Megan is one that I remember. She was like one of the first people that followed me. Legs with Schmegs. I don't know why. And Fitness for Lazy Girls. Like us three, I remember we had followed each other since day one. Like we each had like 200 followers. It's so cool to see them grow and like grow their businesses and everything like that. But
Mhm.
I remember we were like all following each other, hyping each other up. But then I started getting followers from women that wanted to learn fitness. Like
Mhm.
they were girls that were posting about their journey as well. So they were already on it and kind of like encouraging others. And when people started asking me questions, and this is amidst the 3 months of coaching I was doing, I
Mhm.
was like, I kind of know the answers to these questions. Like, I'm kind of smart right now. Okay, like this is cool. So I'd answer the questions, always put like, hey, I'm not a coach, like don't take this as like real advice.
Mhm.
And then after the 3 months, I posted my before and after. And of course, a coach helps you through it, but I was the person that was able to execute this and
Yeah.
keep taking this further. So once I stopped coaching, I kept going and kept seeing progress with my own studies. And Jeff Nipard is great on YouTube. Like he
Yeah, I
posts
love
his
him.
like amazing, like science-backed fitness tips. So I started watching a lot of his stuff. Um, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get certified. But I'm also going to school simultaneously for finance and marketing,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole nother thing. I changed my major about 7 times. My mom wanted to kill me. She's like, why am I even like helping you pay for this? I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, so then that was my junior year or sophomore year, I forget. But I'm like, okay, I want to switch majors again to like nutrition or like physical therapy or something like that.
Yeah.
My mom's like, no. She's like, you're sticking to business. Like you've already changed your major so many times. I went in like wanting to do pre-law and then I did undecided and then I changed it. She was like, you're not changing it again. I'm like, oh, fine. She's like, even if you want to do this fitness thing,
Mhm.
which I think there was doubts there, like around
Yeah,
fitness.
sure.
She's also foreign, so she's like doctor, lawyer, or businesswoman, one of
Gotcha.
the
Yeah.
three. Um, so I think there was doubts there, but uh, honestly, getting my marketing and finance degree helped me a little bit because I took
Yeah.
business management classes, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. We can talk about that later. But anyways, she was like, okay, if you want to do this, you have to pay for it.
Mhm.
And I was looking at AFPA, ACE, and NASM for my first degree to
Mhm.
go through. Uh, and I did ACE because it was on sale and I had to pay for it.
Same.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was $750. I was like,
Yeah.
this is all my bartending money. Like, what am I gonna do? I have no money.
Yeah.
So I just paid for it. I was like, F it, let's just do it. So I paid for it and I think they give you like 6 months and I was so excited. I did it in like a month and a half. Like I was like, I'm just gonna
Wow.
grind this out because I want to do this. And these women are
Yeah.
wanting help and I was like on the side making a guide already, my first guide.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just kind of like made it quick and like would study, study, study. I remember I had my laptop on and the classes were going on for school, but it was during COVID, so no one had their camera on and no one was freaking listening. So I would just like mute it and then go do my course on the side.
Oh my gosh.
If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was so bad. I just wasn't paying attention. But I passed with a great grade and I got my
That's
degree,
what
so it doesn't
matters.
matter. But yeah, so that's what I was really focused on. And I think the biggest thing was once I saw my own results and felt so good and really overcame binging. At this point, I was only getting these urges probably like once every 3-ish months.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I kind of like am getting control of this. This is so cool. And when they would happen, they weren't as bad. And I was obviously no longer using like laxatives or trying to purge or anything like that. So it was really coming on the other side. Um, and then at that point, I was like, okay, I feel this good. I want everyone to feel this good, like all my
Yeah.
followers. So I was like, okay, make it public. So I made my profile public. Woman's Best reached out and sent me like a whole bunch of clothes. It was the first PR I ever gotten.
Oh wow.
I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. Like, still when
Oh.
I get PR, I'm like so giddy.
Yeah.
Why would they send this to me for free? But
Yeah.
I did like a little photo shoot at the beach with my cousin's ex-girlfriend at the time, Kayla. Shout out Kayla. She like went and helped me like take all these pictures. Then I posted them, and then yeah, it just from there, I never really was fixated on followers. I
Yeah.
think for me, what really kept me grounded and excited to keep going, and why I like still do like 2 posts every single day, like 3 posts on TikTok every single day, like a podcast, is because I literally have made so many friends and like in DMs they'll share their stories and like the group chats and now doing the Franklin Girls Who Walk and then doing St. Pete Girls Who Walk and Franklin Girls Who Walk. I think just everyone around cheering not only me on but everyone on, like even in comments,
Yeah.
keeps me going. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing other people get that transformation and that
Yeah.
freedom that you
Yeah.
experienced. Yeah.
It's
I
so
totally
fun.
get that. That's awesome.
Such a cool job. But
It
in the
is.
middle of that, I had to do a corporate job. It wasn't just like all rainbows and butterflies. Like I got my certification and then I just started online coaching and like could sustain a lifestyle, and a life and even afford an apartment. It was not like that. I had to get a corporate job. I was grinding like
Yeah, you were.
8 a.m. to like 5 and then coach like 5 to like 10. At one
Yeah.
point, I had like a side job at a private gym, like working in-person training, bartending on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a grind.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But you love it, so it's
Yeah, I
worth
loved
it.
it. But I also think like for new trainers, I always tell them because some of them will DM me like ask for advice, and I'm like, commit to the grind for like a year and do a lot of stuff for free. Like train people for free, like do free like workout classes and build people's trust because it's really hard to just start and just have this expectation that it's going to blow up. And I think because I started early and I didn't see all these other successful online coaches, because even the ones that I was watching on YouTube, they didn't do online coaching. They were doing like apps. Or no, at the time they weren't even doing apps, just the guides.
Gotcha.
So the one-on-one coaching was kind of a new well, it was there. I just didn't see it. So yeah, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, or at least that I saw. So I didn't really have too many expectations on it, which I think was a good thing at the time.
Yeah.
Like I think getting into coaching now is a little intimidating because you see people with like their full rosters and posting every day, and it's intimidating. And I think what's nice is that a lot of them are really kind and you can message them and like ask for tips and things like that. So that's something that I've also started incorporating, like my mentorship calls and things like that, because I've been there. And I think a lot of everything that I do is stemmed from like I've been there.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. I get that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you just started it organically because of everything that you had gone through and experienced, and you just truly want to share with everyone.
Oh yeah.
What you
I'm an
said,
eager
what you
beaver.
said. I
Yeah.
love it. It's so good. And you still inspire me, like with my business, to just keep grinding and keep focusing, like you said, not on like numbers or followers or whatever, like that doesn't matter, but focusing on like the person in front of you, the people that you're helping, and the people out there who need you. And like each coach is unique, so
Yeah.
different people are going to connect with like different coaches, and it's sometimes it can feel like it's oversaturated or this or that, but it's
Yeah.
like if you're truly called to it, then there are people out there that need what you have to offer.
Yeah.
So
You're doing such a great job.
thank
Yeah. I hate when people are like, it's oversaturated because exactly, it's like personal and then training. It's just the fact that it's intimidating right now,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because people think it's oversaturated, but it's not because you are you.
I think it's just been a hard year for like every business owner.
Yeah.
2024 for some reason has
Yeah,
just
we'll see.
been crazy. So hopefully it gets a lot better soon.
Yeah, groceries are
But
so expensive, man.
they're
Like,
so crazy.
dropping like $200 a week on groceries because we have to post like different, well, it's a tax write-off for us. But that's still, I thought tax, I'm so silly when it comes to finances, even though I was a finance major. I'm like, it's a write-off. That doesn't mean it's free. Like,
Right.
my mom had to tell me that. She's
Girl,
like,
yeah.
Julie, you know, like a write-off doesn't mean it's free, right? And I'm like, oh, okay.
It helps in the long run, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it makes you feel better about it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You have anything else you want to talk about or share that we didn't hit on?
I don't know. It's up to you.
We're probably at about 30 minutes, so
Yeah,
if we want to wrap it up there,
sure.
now I gotta figure out what to say.
Okay. No, take your time. We're good. We're really good on time.
Okay, cool.
The only thing we didn't really talk about was like Florida in recent years, but I don't think we really need to get into that.
Yeah. Oh, I can say.
Like we could talk about
Yeah.
like future stuff, but I don't really know if I have future stuff. But I could come up with something.
Marriage.
No.
I'll put that in.
We could. We could talk about like life in like Franklin Girls Who Walk. I don't have that much to say though.
I got
Yeah,
it.
you got
I'll land
some?
the plane.
Okay, you go. Do your thing.
Well, I'm just so glad that like we've connected the last year or so, and that God brought you here to Franklin to hang out with me.
Yeah, I love it here.
I'm glad you love it. It's a great place to be. It was so fun, like helping y'all move in and reaching out and being like,
that was a day.
oh, it was fun though for us to be like meet you in person
Yeah.
finally, and we were just so excited to have you and Brett here, which I'm married to a Brett. Your boyfriend is Brett with one T.
Brett with one T. Yeah.
And my Brett has two T's, so a little confusing. But yeah, we were just so pumped to have you guys here in Franklin, and now you and I have started Franklin Girls Who Walk, which has been just such a fun walking club to meet so many amazing women in the area that want community and want to yap and hit their step goal. So
yeah. It's so fun. It gets us out of the house.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of them say. They're like, I work from home. I look forward to this. Like I get to talk to people, not just my cat.
Yeah.
And then I get to like go and get my steps in. So it is nice.
Yeah,
Even those night walks where I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of want to hit the hay. I'm like, no, we
Mhm.
got this. And then I always feel better after and I sleep better too.
Yeah, me too. It is hard like to make myself get out at night
Right?
too.
Yeah.
But then you're like, man, that was so much fun and it was so worth
Yeah.
it.
Us making the calendar, we're like, should we do a 6 o'clock walk? I don't know. We're kind of
Right.
selfish. Yeah. We're both like, we are in bed by 7:30.
Grandma life.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thanks for being my friend and being here and sharing your story, being vulnerable, because like it's difficult sometimes to relive things and share all the details. But I know that like so many girls are gonna, relate to different parts of your story and things you've shared and be encouraged. So I'll put your links in the description for everyone to find you.
Yeah. And if you guys are local, you should come meet us at a walk.
Yes.
October calendar is fun, and we might do some pumpkin patch thing, right?
Yeah,
I think we're gonna do that too. We got some yoga going on, walks.
Mhm.
It's gonna be great. But yeah,
All the
thanks
fun
for having
things.
me.
Thanks
This
for
is
being
great.
here.
And your couch is so comfy. I got a great view of your cat's booty right here. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Space for Grace podcast. Be sure to check out the description for any links or resources that were mentioned during this episode. And if you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a review. I hope you're leaving today educated, inspired, and ready to flourish. This is Space for Grace.